Let's meet someone who's turned a backstage moment with Naomi Campbell into a global beauty empire and reinvented the makeup brush. I'm Kate Save. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. In this interview, we speak with Rae Morris, internationally acclaimed makeup artist, best-selling author, and the creator of the world's first magnetic makeup brush range. From humble beginnings in Brisbane to becoming a long-serving makeup director for L'Oreal Paris, Australia, Rae has worked with some of the world's most iconic faces and fashion publications. Her handcrafted brush collection, developed in collaboration with a legendary Japanese master. She's redefined industry standards and set a new benchmark for beauty tools. With over 25 years of experience, Rae's influence spans the world of fashion and beauty innovation and timeless craftsmanship. Thank you, Rae.
Thank you for having me.
What an incredible resume.
What a great thank you. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot I did. Got some of those things.
Yeah. And humble beginnings. So growing up in Brisbane.
Yeah, I grew up in Brisbane, the suburbs of Brisbane. My mum was an aerobics instructor, failed art at school, and started hairdressing really, really young.
But you started your own business at 19, right?
Yeah, I think I was even maybe a little bit younger. I think I put 19 down for legal reasons, but I was actually younger.
Crazy.
I actually believe I'm Australia's youngest qualified hairdresser. I finished my apprenticeship when I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah, so my auntie gave me some cash and I bought a little salon in Cleveland, and yeah, it all started from there.
That's incredible. My mum was a hairdresser. I had 2 salons in Melbourne, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Good training, good foundation.
Yeah, and hard work.
Yeah.
Really hard work, long hours.
Especially in the 80s too, because if you remember, the 80s we were perming,
yes,
killing people's hair,
yes,
colouring in 100 different colours.
Yep.
Like it was a really chemically based salon, where now, I'm sure, there's still chemicals happening, but you had to be really on your game.
Yeah, Mum said it destroyed her.
Same.
And when I knew she did perms and I was old enough to appreciate it, I got a perm at school when I was 15. I was like, just because Mum's a hairdresser, why not?
The skills are great. I've got a daughter now, so she's 11 and wants her hair done for school. So I'm kind of glad I've been in training for that. So glad I did hairdressing first.
And they've really upped the ante with children these days, and tweens and teens, with hair, makeup. They've got access to everything.
Yeah,
and I've got 2 girls that are 11 and 12 as well, and they're not quite into it, but they're looking at everything and they understand it and they want it.
Yeah.
And it's like, when do you let them just go for it?
It's an interesting thing because I'm also around a lot of dermatologists too. We have this conversation all the time. So when that whole 10-step skincare came in, I put Avene Cyclofate in all the bottles. So she thought she was doing 10 steps. It's to say what. And the problem that I have too is I don't allow her on social media at all. And I do have a brand in Mecca, so in Mecca a lot. And so she thinks it's normal.
Yes.
So what I find is it's when they've got friends who've got older sisters, that's where the real influence is. So, and I don't wear makeup at home, so I'm not the one pushing it on her. But yeah, I don't think you can escape it really.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Monitor, not escape it.
Yeah, that's right. And so you're also a makeup artist, but you weren't trained in makeup. You were self-taught?
Yes and no. So I was self-taught. I had carpal tunnels in my wrist, so from a really young age, so hairdressing became really difficult for me. And so makeup, I modelled for a minute. I always say it's a minute in the 80s.
You can tell.
No, well, I think the timing was great because in the 80s, it was a time where you actually transformed your face. So you never looked like you, not like now where a lot of models are booked for that natural, no makeup look.
Oh, yes.
So seeing my face really transform, that's where the interest, I think, started. And then when I say I wasn't trained, I did get 24 hours of training, but it was the best training of my life. I was trained by Richard Chara, who's passed, and he was David Bowie's makeup artist and behind Ziggy Stardust, some of his most iconic looks. And I only had 24 hours of training. So that's the only training I've ever had. And it was before, YouTube and Instagram. And I'm so glad I got to learn and train at that time too.
And trained face-to-face too, rather than a lot of training these days is more virtual. You do the practical, but actually that hands-on experience.
Yeah, that human contact is really important. I think too also having someone someone who knows so much about makeup in like worldly knows makeup to be there and help guide you. Because I always say makeup's probably 40% of your job.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much more that you need to be as a person and be strong at to be a makeup artist.
So you've done over 150 fashion shows.
Directed, yeah. Lost count over 150, yeah.
Lost count.
So there is more, but it's more. But I know I remember on the 150th, I was directing shows for L'Oreal Paris, and I just remember seeing these balloons at backstage. It's 150. I thought, what's this for? Oh, that's how many shows you've done. And I know. Yeah, so I had a great team, and I mean, the hype's crazy. I had 60 on my team, 20 core artists, yeah, and did that for like over 10 years. Loved it.
So the leadership skills there are almost beyond the hair and makeup to be leading 60 people in your team.
I'm good in chaos.
Wow.
I think that's the whole ADHD, but I'm really good in a crisis, and also having really good people around me. Like I always like being I always say the dumbest in the room, or the person who doesn't know the most. So I'd make sure my team members were really strong in areas that I felt I was always nervous of the fashion designers. I find them a little bit intimidating. So I used to have this awesome makeup artist, Andrea, and she was really firm and strong. And I have like different people with different strengths. And that's what part of my team building was. And I think I delegated a lot to the right people as well. Like I did get all the glory, but it definitely wasn't because of me only, for sure.
Well, tell me about this legendary partnership with the Japanese brush maker, and how did that all start?
This story is crazy. So I designed makeup brushes purely for myself. I never wanted to start a brand at all. And what I found, Japanese, especially calligraphy brushes, the way that they're built, what took a normal makeup brush, say 20 strokes to blend, a calligraphy brush would take 2 or 3. So yeah, it's the way they're built, and because of the point in them, if you put product just on the tip of the brush, when you add pressure, those cleaner bristles that are shorter just blend the edges. There's something really special about Japanese made calligraphy brushes. So it was at a time where the tsunami had just hit Japan. So I found a Korean brush maker at the time just to hand make me brushes. And then what happened organically, my makeup artist friends would say to me, Rae, can I get some too? And it just started like that. And then it grew when models were ordering it, celebrities were ordering it, my clients were ordering it. And I thought, I want to do something really, really special. Went down this big rabbit hole on Japanese craftsmanship, and I found there's only one living master of craft in Japan left alive in the world that can make this brush called a Tempio Ude brush. It takes 30 years to learn the craft. He's the only man in the world that can do this, and his role is to make brushes for the emperor.
My goodness.
Yes. And so when I found that out, I said to my husband, he's going to make brushes for me. And he said, you're joking, Rae. No, I don't know how. And then it is a long story, but the highlights package is that I went to Japan a few times, and it was this constant, I don't do makeup brushes, I do calligraphy brushes. There's no translator. We had one, but we don't think she was doing a great job. We just had, it was just very confusing. But then on the third trip, it was like this moment because Master Yoshiki Umatsu, his name, has a grandson called Soa, and my daughter is Sophia, same age. And the third trip to Japan, our kids just met in their home, and they just ran towards each other and played and became best friends.
Oh my
And it was that moment, and then the conversation happened. And what was really beautiful, he was explaining that in Japan, kids aren't writing as much anymore. They're on keyboards. So he said, if you can keep this exact 60 steps handmade, I'm sitting there going, yes, this is what I want. He said, if you keep that alive and keep the tradition alive, I'll do this with you. And that's how it all started. I still pinch myself that this is happening right now.
Isn't that incredible to think that if he'd passed away without sharing that,
Yes.
it'd be gone.
Well, right, because I get asked, what happens when he passes?
Yeah.
He's training his son.
Oh,
So Seiji is about 10 years in training. I had no idea, like, to work under him, you have to sweep floors in his home, where he makes brushes for 10 years before we can even apply for the job. Like, it's incredible. So his role is to make brushes for the emperor. And it's just an and I filmed everything. So he's finally, like, we've got this really great bond now, and I've gone to his home. I filmed the whole process, and I'm sharing so much out on social.
Yeah, I was going to say, where can people find that?
I've got on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, website. And we've done another trip more recently. And he also makes brushes for the world's most renowned calligraphy artist, which I didn't know. A calligraphy artist is only allowed to dip the brush once to create the whole painting. So he builds a brush personally for world-renowned calligraphy artists. He's a very special man.
That is incredible. I feel like there should be a Netflix series on this. Yes, it's so binge-worthy, isn't it? I'm like, tell me more. And so then the magnetic element of the brushes, how did that come about?
Okay, because I'm completely chaotic, but obsessed with luggage and storage, but really clumsy and messy.
And detail orientated, beyond detail.
And it was
50 steps.
It was actually the backstage at Fashion Week where 60 models, brushes, no space. And I thought, wouldn't it be great, because I'm all about hygiene, I'm really OCD, wouldn't it be great to have a brush that could just stand up and like not fall over? And I thought, I can't believe no one saw this before. And I'm on the plane with my iPad, and I love the way the iPads fold magnetically, a bit origami.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, why can't we just put a magnet in the brush? And then I researched, and no one has ever done this. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is genius. It was interesting though, and this is where the part of the brush became really challenging, because a calligraphy brush is meant to, if you close your eyes, it's meant to pick up black paint on a heavy brush, and an artist with their eyes closed should be able to feel that brush hit the canvas. So that the handle has to be hollow and so light to feel vibration. So for how they did it to get the magnet in but make it lighter is just, I have a couple here for you. So you'll be able to feel the craftsmanship of these brushes. They're very special.
It's like it's rewiring something in my brain. Every day you learn something, but this is just opening my mind up to something I've never learnt about. And to think that 30 years of craftsmanship or training to be able to do this is just incredible. Yeah. And it scares me with how fast our, particularly in Western culture, is. And are there people that are really taking that much pride in their work these days and passing these things on? And I spent some time earlier this year in Africa, and we met with some of the elders who were doing the basket weaving and particular types of weaving. And they are some of the last people that know how to do that.
You've got to keep this alive.
Yeah. And we said, why aren't you passing that on? And they said, because our grandchildren are too busy on phones and things like this. And this is in rural communities where they can't afford to eat eggs because protein they can't afford. You know, they're so poor, yet the teens are still not interested in culture. And I just thought that's a scary place to be.
Even though I think it's a really good point that you brought up, and it actually making me think now, because it's like when you see a craft that, I mean, thank goodness there's still calligraphy artists in the world, but it was so nice to keep it alive. And just a way to find that, okay, kids might not be writing with calligraphy brushes at school, but how can I take that and do not change a thing, do not change the way it's made, but make another really beautiful loose squirt as well. And also their hair is so unique. It's a vegan fiber that has a cuticle-like hair. And with natural hair brushes, I mean, people say they're cruelty-free. That's not correct. Peter's done an amazing story on what I'm trying to do in that space. And the problem with synthetic brushes, most of them are just plastic, but not only that, they're like fishing lines. So they don't pick up powders evenly, and they dump them onto the face. And also, if you want to then go and get natural hair, if you want to be really, really anal about it, animal hair changes in diet or what time of year they're born, and cuticles change. Where this way I've been able to say, I want that powder brush to be goat, so I get the best goat cuticle and I match it, and so all the brushes have the cuticle of a blue squirrel, but it's vegan blue squirrels.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really special.
I love that you could potentially be bringing calligraphy to children too, because I think that is something that is missing fundamentally in children's childhood now, because the digital world and AI and social media is so big. The desire to want to just draw in colour and make craft is there, but parents are too busy and it's just easier for them to give a device, but giving them something to occupy themselves that they can build a skill, because they get a bit big for colouring in and it gets a bit boring, but what skills can you teach them? That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I know they use calligraphy writing in Japan now for meditation for children to have a relaxation. So, and it's funny, in the brush range I have a travel set which is really short, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is the brushes are really short, and the reason for that is that I remember one day I was teaching makeup at a makeup school, and they gave me day one eyeliner. So these poor nervous students got these shaky hands going the eyeballs, and my daughter was drawing with crayons, and I watched the way she was holding a crayon. And little kids, as you know, they hold it from the back, and and I thought, hang on. So I made everyone in the class cut the brushes, they were my brushes, to crayon length just to see what happened. And what happened is when you hold a brush from the back, not when you hold it, it sits
and it's
there.
touching.
The surgeon told me this is the most, that part of your wrist gives you the most stability. And so now when you use stability, I've seen people who can't draw a straight line get complete stability because of the way kids hold brushes. So there you go. It all kind of...
That is fascinating too.
Just things that you learn, right, watching children.
And tell me a little bit more about, I guess, so the scaling up of your business. So there were brushes for you and then people you were working with. Yeah. How did it get to this next level?
It again, accidentally. And I think sometimes I'm glad it happened this way, because I'm a creative person. I'm not a business person at all. So it came when it's just naturally people started to order it. There was a couple of moments though that really changed the trajectory. Is that right? Yeah. I've had some really big celebrities in superstars ask me to make brushes for them.
Oh my God.
And then
give us some names.
Well, there were some moments. One of my favorite moments, I designed a new brush and it wasn't really out on retail yet. And Kelly Rowland, I was looking after her, and I've got the video of it. I had posted this before. I was working with her on The Voice many years ago, and she's picked it up and she said, puts up her phone and goes, "What? Oh my God, what is this?" And she knows makeup brushes. So that was huge. And I had, Makeup by Mario. Yeah. I was Hung Van Gogh, Queen of Guitar. I've had some really big, Lady Gaga, her makeup artist, is a really big fan of the brushes. So I've had these moments where it was just what I love. I made it for artists. That's what I did. And then naturally it just scaled up. But they're still handmade. That's why I don't want to be everywhere and be huge. I just want to have those magic moments and have them in store. But I don't want to be, I just couldn't. You'd lose the craftsmanship if you grew that big.
Yes, no, that makes perfect sense as well. And it does keep it special, unique, bespoke. And I think, so looking forward now, so you finished with L'Oreal.
Yes.
You're making the brushes. Yeah. What else is in your world?
Well, but funny, the brush part is probably 20%, because I had moments where I go and I do all the design, but because I had this amazing man who makes them, I tell him the shapes that I want. He always gets it first time around. So once I've designed that's kind of done, then, I go and do the rest of my world, which is working as a makeup artist. That's one. Two, education. So I love education. But another big part of my job, which I love, I work a lot with plastic surgeons and dermatologists. So yeah, and that's been my favorite job. And how that came about is I did makeup for a very famous cosmetic doctor's wedding, female, and she said to me, the way you contour and highlight my face is not similar to, we get taught a little bit different to this. And I went, oh, okay. So then it was at the time, about 10, 15 years ago, where fillers were huge. And it wasn't making, especially women, it wasn't making women look younger. It was making women look odd. Just not age appropriate. It's a word that I like. And I hate that word younger. It's the word I don't. Let's do it looking healthier. Yeah. And so then what happens, some of the big companies like Allergan, Teoxane, plastic surgery, ASAPS and ASCD, and Dr. Stephen Liu, they got me involved to help train up and coming doctors about beauty and about subtlety. So now what I do is I will take a woman's face, normally it's female, and I'll do makeup on one side, because I do things a little bit differently to the way a lot of injectors are trained. And then what they do is teach my techniques cosmetically. But the great thing is I get to sit in all these conferences, so I get to see what they're doing, and what the latest surgery or what the best in skin, all that skin.
Yeah.
And it's really great, just because the doctors the ones at the top are just all about subtlety and that being natural and being safe, and it's the aesthetic that I love as well. So
And
really amazing.
how does health come into skin? You've seen so much skin in your life. So tell me what you think the most important things are and what you do for your skin.
Yeah. Look, my skin's a battle because I'm really pale. I get really bumpy. And we all hear it all the time. It does start from the gut. I get it. And I'm not healthy all the time. I'm yin and yang.
Yeah.
But 100%, like I don't have this aesthetic. If you even look at the work that I do, I'm not about, like, you got to cover up, of course. But my idea is you shouldn't have to cover up. It's just if you want to. But getting skin looking really healthy. Health is what it's all about. Light in the eyes, feeling good about yourself, and then makeup's in an art form. Whatever you want to wear, when you want to wear it. I don't believe in trends at all, but I'm all about making that person feel the healthiest version of themselves. So health is 100% everything.
Amazing. And your skincare routines, and that you're speaking to a dermatologist, what do you do?
So I've tried a few of the new, so I'm doing at the moment the new called exosomes. There's a big one that people have been talking about that's a little bit old. It's called Redurin. So it's the salmon sperm injection.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but the reason for it is salmon sperm's the closest thing to skin DNA as human, and more closer than pig skin apparently.
Yeah. But
that's 10 years old. So there's a new biostimulator. So that's all, inject them in the face. You don't see results for about 3 months, but it's all about just tightening, getting collagen going. A technique called sculpture, which is like putting little collagen things in your face. I do peels. Skincare, I believe, is 50%, but I personally like really good lasers, Genesis laser, things that you get results from. I don't like buying really expensive skincare that smells nice. I'm all about science-based skincare. So always ask my dermatologist, but I do get really bumpy skin, but I think I'm lucky that I'm pale, not lucky, but lucky that I had a mum who got burnt her whole life on us, who watched her skin.
Yes.
And I just literally sunscreen myself to death. And it does definitely help for sure.
Funny story about that. So my mum is so pale and her sister, and because she got burnt her whole life, she said, I'd never marry a man as white as me so my kids don't get burnt.
Yeah.
And so my sister and I are reasonably tan. My sister much more tan than me, but I've got 2 children that are white beyond white. So it's like, and my husband's quite tan as well. So it's like my sister and I got it, and then my poor daughters, they cannot.
It's hard in Australia, it really is.
But it's good from a melanoma skincare. And I think when you have tan skin, you're more likely to be in the sun and sun damage. I regret being in the sun.
Sunscreen light.
Definitely a bit of sun damage there.
Technology and Cosmoland peel, one of the best things. I had the worst pigment because I grew up in Queensland. And I did 1 Cosmoland peel. I don't recommend it for everybody, but for me, oh my God.
Bring it on. Everyone is listening to that. So that is amazing.
Get a great dermatologist. It's all about making a skin the best it can be. And not every skin suits the same skincare. Like I switch from SkinCeuticals is a great brand, or Bespoke. I don't do any paid posts, by the way.
Oh, Bespoke, I know. Catherine. I use her products. I love. Yeah, the all-in-one, how she simplified it.
I've done a video. It's so funny.
I believe you use her as well. I love.
She's the one I ring for everything.
Yes. And she's Melbourne-based.
She's Melbourne. I wish she wouldn't see me. But you know what's so funny? There's on her website, it looks like an ad, and I've gotten comments so often. I had an assistant at the time called Rochelle, and I said, and I'm being honest, I don't think this product can really help with pigment. Rochelle used just this product. I think there was the Dream Cream and the Serum, 2 products.
Oh, Dream Cream, the one I use.
That's the one. Don't use anything else for 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, comes into work going, what's on your face? She said, nothing. And I went, what? Took a photo, and then I literally grabbed my camera and just went, I don't know what's happened. And then it went out, and Catherine said, can I use that? I said, of course you can. And then I get that's a paid ad. No, it's not. It's really, she's incredible.
I'm so glad that I'm a scientist at heart. So I love when I meet people that know the science. Yes. I naturally just trust, because I'm like, to be a scientist, you have to have done the research, or you wouldn't put pen to paper. You won't say things that you're not entirely sure are true at the time, because things always change.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you always kind of write that in. For now, this is the best thing, but it will move. Yes. Watching this space.
For sure.
And my last question, so in all of your highlights that I've seen, there was a pinch yourself moment with Naomi Campbell. Tell me about that.
I always say it's 2 seconds of her life she's never remembered. That completely changed mine. And I wasn't a makeup artist at all. This is pre me having my 24 hours of training. I was in Istanbul, Turkey, And I was there doing hair for an Australian model, and they saw that I was quite good with hair. I've got really curly hair. I'm good with really curly hair. And they said, can you come do some VIP guest hair in the judging room? Because I was bored and had nothing to do. And I went, sure. So I was in there, and Amy Campbell was a guest at this amazing, best model of the world pageant is what it's called. And she was also at the height of her career. And I remember her coming in, and there was this crazy moment, and she had her hair, there's hair and makeup people, and they kind of walked out, and she just looked lips. And I remember she had 2 mobile phones, and they were big mobile phones. And I was so terrified. And I thought, I can't do makeup. I've never done makeup before. And she had like this, I always remember the formula. I remember she had a brown lip pencil and a red lipstick, which I found out later through Kelly Rowland that Naomi shared that with Kelly, and that's still, I think it's Teddy Mac and then a red lipstick.
I use Teddy. Oh, I love that.
It has a lip liner with red.
What's
her lip trick? But on the table was clear lip gloss, and her lips looked amazing. So she was really distracted. So I just picked up lip gloss. All I did, I swear, lip gloss, it's all I did. And that moment, the paparazzi had come in and just gone click, click, click. And it was before the internet had even started, damn. And then that shot went everywhere. And I came back to little old Brisbane. I was this little celebrity in Brisbane. And I started to get booked for makeup jobs, and I wasn't qualified. And how I really learnt before I got properly trained, 24 hours of training, I was asked, and TAFE knows this now, but I was asked by TAFE to teach a makeup class during the school holidays. And I thought, sure, I can do that. Never done makeup before. But in hairdressing, we had like a day of it. Anyway, so I thought school holidays, young kids, I'll be fine. Turn up, 30 trainers sitting in a room, all makeup teachers.
No.
Yep. Luckily, I did live with 2 drag queens. And I knew nothing. And so what I did, I turned up and I literally just lied myself through this. And day one, I said, so let's all do makeup and let me see where you're at. And what I did is I walked around the room and I watched for the best techniques. And I just started watch and learn. And then whatever I saw, I'd repeat. I did confess this all over.
Oh, no, but that is amazing.
No,
it's so smart. No, you are a true entrepreneur. No, the fact is say and make it, that is what it is. It's amazing.
I agree. And I always hear that. I hear that comment. Gokwan, who's a friend of mine, he said something to me once in the whole fake it till you make it. He said the difference is we turned up.
Yes.
And we just
do the work. It's the do. And I had a interview today with Jack DeLosa, and he was talking about just getting in the arena. That's, you got in the arena, you put yourself out there, you were vulnerable, you were ready, and you just did the best you can do. If you do the best you can do, that's it.
Yeah, and I always say, like, what would you do? My favourite saying, what would you do or attempt to do if you knew for sure you could not fail? And the second thing, I always say this to artists, don't wait for passion. Because I wasn't passionate about makeup because I didn't think I was good at it. It's like me saying right now I'm not passionate about tennis, because I've never done it before.
Yeah.
And I think passion comes when you get good at something.
So true. You get yoga because I don't do it enough to be good at it. But I'm sure I'm going to love yoga one day.
I'm sure I'm going to love yoga too. I'm going to be so passionate about yoga. Just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rae. What an incredible, inspiring story too. This is The Inspired CEO, and we'll be right back.